World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
Happy Monday, everyone. I hope that you all had an amazing weekend and welcome to The Bold Show with me, your host, Marie Dunn. It is always such a pleasure and an exciting moment to be in this space, to be able to share, inspire, impact, and motivate others. Today is a day that we should be grateful for. Every single day that we wake up, it's a gift and we should honor it. We should treasure it. I honestly believe that we should live our life with a sense of urgency because we don't know what tomorrow brings. This weekend on the news, most of us probably are already aware that Tracy Braxton died, such a young soul at 50 years old. And that's a constant reminder that life, it's so unpredictable and you just never know. So go ahead and seize the moment. And I also want to take this opportunity to send peace, love, light, and blessings to the folks in Ukraine. Such a difficult moment, such a tension, such loss, and folks are really hurting. So I want us today and tonight to just hold those folks in our prayers, lift them up. But without further ado, I am elated for our guest today. And of course, what happy Women's Her Story Month. I am I'm filled with so much humility at this point in time to be welcoming our guest. When I talk about women and how we are resilient, how we are strong, I am just proud. I am literally in awe. If determination was a person, then it would be her. She never gave up. She stepped out on faith. She believed. She believed in herself. And she's creating opportunities. She's also creating opportunities for others. And I'll quote, she basically said, I don't do this for me. I do this for we. That indeed is powerful and profound. And that's the space that we're creating here. Women, we have to stand up. We have to rise to that occasion. And we have to be intentional. We got to be purposeful. And we got to own the spaces that we're given. And even if you don't have that space, you got to create that space for yourself. Tell yourself you can and just keep pushing. Yes, our guest tonight, Tomika Turner. She is a serial entrepreneur. She owns a assistant care facility. She's a business consultant. She has a tax business. I think she's also getting into Airbnb. Literally, whatever it is, she is open. And that's because she believes in herself. So I am going to go ahead. Welcome Tomika Turner for being here. And thank you so much. And I look forward to this conversation. I look forward to learning and to be inspired by your story. This is what we want. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Why don't you tell us who you are?
Hi, Maria. First, I want to thank you for the opportunity for allowing me to be here to inspire others. So I'm honored to be here, and I'm just grateful for you having a show like this. For all of us to come together as women and build more, and that's how we become powerful to help others. So I'm Tomika. I'm here located in Georgia. I am from Atlanta, Georgia. I currently reside here in Decula. But just to come into what Miss Marie was saying, I have a home healthcare business. I also have a tax company that I have partners who work under my tax group. Also, I do have an Airbnb that's located in Atlanta, Georgia. I do consultant to help other providers, other home people who want to do home care. I help them and I do consultant for them, like doing applications, getting their homes open. And so that's a little bit of something that I do. And adding more things, that could help the community. So I haven't quite figured out what I want to do next, but something is coming.
I love it. She's like, I haven't quite figured out what I want to do next, right? But
But it's
something is
coming.
coming. I love the attitude. I love the mentality. But before we even get to all of your accomplishments and
Mhm.
all that you're doing, we all have a story. A lot of
Yes.
times, folks see this now. They see this
Mhm.
woman, she is accomplished, she is breaking barriers, and she's owning and creating her own narrative, right?
Mhm.
But something led you to that. And if it's okay, I'm going to challenge you. I want to hear about that story because not only is it going to serve as a reminder that we
Mhm.
can accomplish whatever it is that we
Yes.
want, but I
Yes.
also wanted to highlight your resilience.
Yes,
So go
definitely,
right ahead.
definitely. And so my background, my story, I want to go all the way back to me being a younger child. I would say about 7 years old, watching my mother run her own business. She also did home health care, but more of transportation. I do come from Atlanta, a small town. Well, I don't want to say small town. I want to be transparent and say that I come from Atlanta hoods. So it's just to say if I can do it, anybody can do it. I grew up in a rough neighborhood. I grew up just pretty much being independent, always being independent most of my life. Also, I had a child at 15 years old. So I also am a teen mom, and which led me into home health care because my child, who is 20 years old now, his grandmother was in home health care. And so that's how I really got my start, being in the home, wanting to learn so much about it, having a heart, a passion to take care of people. And I always just wanted to take it to that next level instead of it remaining small. And so I got my start there. I came through a couple of challenges, and you know how that is when you're working with different people. Maybe people become intimidated by you. And I like to say I was pretty much almost blackballed in the business. But that did not stop me being blackballed in the business. And I pretty much brought a home last year. Around no, I don't want to say last year. Two years ago, I brought a home in Lithonia, and that's just how I started that business. Sacrificing, living in that home. A lot of people don't know that I slept on air mattress while my clients stayed in the room, just to make sure that I could provide that quality care for them. But putting myself on the back burner because I knew my plan to get, until I worked my way up to get staff and become successful to where I'm at now. And so just been building and helping other people build. And that's pretty much how my home healthcare started. that, because like I said, I was blackballed. I didn't have anywhere to go. So my thing was, you know what, Tomika, instead of you crying about it, just start your own. You're going to have to start from the bottom, but just start your own. And that's exactly what I did. Started my own. And with me starting my own, I was able to bring up people, what I like to call us underdogs. I wanted to bring up people in those same positions to come up, because like I felt like, okay, I don't want to do this by myself. It takes a team to have a successful company. And, the people that I work with, they're selected, because I just don't work with anybody. So the people that I work with, they're hungry, just like me. They're African American women, just like me. And we all have a passion, and we all care for our clients, and we love what we do. And that's just how I got that start in the home healthcare, learning so much and working with so many different women. And to this day, I still look up to these women. They still still inspire me regardless of past issues. These women still inspire me. And because they gave me the opportunity, I'm grateful for that, these women even gave me the opportunity to work with them. And I'll forever be grateful for that. And then a little bit about my tax company. I started doing taxes about 10 years ago. And well, I don't want to say 10 years ago, legitimately 10 years ago. But I used to do like taxes for people here and there. And then I got a phone call one day from one of my relatives saying, hey, I know you do taxes, but you need to do it the correct way. And I literally had $1,000 in my savings account. And she told me the class was $1,000. And I literally took that $1,000. I prayed about it, and I told God to give me signs, and He gave me those signs, because the name of the tax company, I was seeing this name everywhere. And so I just decided to take the $1,000 to invest in myself. And 10 years later, I'm here. I have my own EFIN. I have 6 people who work in my tax group now. And I was able to turn that $1,000 that one year into $6,000. And it may not seem like a lot for people, but it's a start. And that's why I try to tell people, don't look at the now. Look at the bigger picture of it. Because when I say I started low, I took low payments. I used to work for free, but I knew the bigger picture was to get all the knowledge that I could so I could build my own. So I never looked at the right now. I always looked at, longevity. I always looked at, okay, it's a bigger picture. Let me learn, let me get all the knowledge, and then I'll be able to come up from there. And that's pretty much what I did. Every year it got better. And now I'm teaching people how to make 6 figures in 3 months, literally. So it's possible. And also with my consultant, that's another thing. I do consulting, and I started, like I said, with my kids' grandmother, and I just worked my way up, just learning the business, reading as much as I can, because I knew it was a need for it. People don't like to read, so I knew to read and charge people for telling them what they need to do when all they had to do was read it. But that was my niche. And not only was I able to tell people what they had to do, but I was able to grow their company in the process as well. And so that's just pretty much how I started. I started from the bottom. So I don't want anyone thinking that this is an overnight success, because I'll be 37 this year. And I've been doing this since I was 15, I like to say, because, I was a teenage mother. So I've been going, and I've been motivated and inspired ever since. And, I'm now I'm here, and I still have more. My story is not finished. So this is not the end. I feel like this is just the beginning.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And this is what we want to hear, right?
Yes.
But I am going to push a little bit further.
Mm-hmm.
At 15 years old,
Mm-hmm.
you got pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
a teenage mom.
Mm-hmm.
You could have just fall for and be a statistic, right?
Yeah.
Can you take me back to your 15-year-old self, and what
Mm-hmm.
was going through your mind? First, when you found out you were pregnant, and your what next?
Well, of course, I was scared being pregnant. And being honest, my son almost didn't make it here on the earth. But I'm just happy to say my father, who made the decision for me, supportive, just saying, no, we as a family, we don't do that. So I was definitely scared, but I made the decision to go ahead and have my child. And honestly, if it wasn't for my child, I don't know where I would be, because that's who made me hungry and like, okay, Tomika, you need to go out here and do this. You have to work. You have to do what you have to do. And it does. And then it didn't matter what I did. I always gave 100%, in anything that I did. But my child definitely was my motivation. I didn't quit school. Well, I'm sorry. I don't want to say I didn't quit school. I always felt like school was above me. So I got my GED. I'm gonna be honest. I got my GED at 15. I tested out and I went straight into college. At 16, 17, went straight into college. And I kind of I stopped going to college. And something else inspired me, which made me be like, okay, you know what, to me, you need to go back to school because you have a gift. And if you don't know anything, how can you help the next person? And so I ended up going back to school in college, I would say 23, 24. So yeah, being a teenage mom was definitely challenging, but I had support. I had people that supported me, there to help me be able to continue to go to school, continue to go to work. It was a challenge, but I did it.
News for you and for anyone who is listening. Once we exist in this world, you're going to have challenges, you're going to have setbacks. But what I heard from you, you took that setback and you allowed it to motivate you. You
Yes.
got so hungry. You didn't give up. And
Mhm.
that's the beauty of that's the resilience that we talk about.
Mhm.
And I'm so happy that you're literally painting this picture. You got your GED at 16. You got into college. You decided you didn't want to do college anymore. But then you went back to college at 23 years of age
Mhm.
because you understood, like literally what you were doing is creating a foundation. You were building.
Yes. Mhm.
Sometimes folks don't get it. Like we want to bypass the process.
Yes. And you can't do that.
You can't do that. I haven't yet to see someone building a house and they just erect the structure and there's no foundation.
Mhm.
If somebody can show that to me, I would be in awe.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. We have to trust the process. You
Yes.
can't cheat the process. And too often we have instant gratification. It's the
Mhm.
now. We want it now. We're not thinking about later.
Yeah.
And sacrifices, that is something that folks sometimes they are not ready to say yes to themselves because
They're
they're
not.
not willing to do what it takes. You mentioned earlier that when you had your first house, you literally was sleeping on a blow up bed,
Yes.
serving
Mhm.
clients. And
Yep.
this is what folks need to understand because they see all of what you're doing now, and no
Mhm.
one really understand the self doubt, the self
Yep.
questioning, wondering, am I doing this right? The nights when you're like, I can't do this anymore. It's just
Yeah.
too much. When you feel so overwhelmed and you
Mhm.
feel as if like you're sinking. But
Yep.
then you got to pick yourself up because that's the hunger in you.
Yes.
You got to like, it's like you're almost starving. So you
Yeah.
got to
And it
pick
was also other people too that believed in me. Tamika, you're like, I know you could do this. I'm waiting on you. And so that pushed me to hear people's like, Miss Turner, I'm waiting on you because you've been doing this. You've been doing this for other people. You could do this for yourself. So the moment you get yours running, I have people waiting saying they're ready, to work for me. They're ready to become a part of the team because they believe we believe. And so that's what I tell people now. You gotta, like you say, you gotta have that experience. You gotta be able to sacrifice for what you want. And a lot of people, they're not ready for that. They just see the right now. They don't see the nights where I cried, the nights where I got on my knees and prayed, like, what did I do wrong? Why am I here? And just like that, in 2 years, God can, he could turn it around. But there's ups and downs with
Yeah.
success. Don't think you're gonna have a lot of no's and you're gonna go through so much before you get to the top. Like you said, I never seen it to where you just go shooting to the top. That does not happen in
It
life.
doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And,
Yeah,
I love to say that success and comfortability cannot coexist in the same sentence in the
exactly.
same room. It's
Yep.
virtually impossible. The beauty about it too, you mentioned something that is so important, that you had support
Mm-hmm.
and folks believed in you. But I want you to also own this, and you're already doing this. But it's
Mm-hmm.
to understand that you believed in you.
Yes, I did.
You believed in
Yeah.
you. And
Yep,
that
I
was
did
your
believe in
recipe.
me. Yes, yes, definitely. I believed in myself. Because with me growing up, my mom always taught me never take no for an answer. When someone tell you no, try again. And so I always stuck with that. Never take no for an answer. Keep going and going, until you get a yes or until someone understands. Because sometimes it may just be a lack of communication or someone not understanding. And so that's what got me to where I am now. Just never taking no for an answer. Keep going. Don't let anything discourage me. Just, just move. That's how I like to say. And sometimes, like I said, I don't even feel like it's me most of the time. I look at myself now and be like, Tomika, how did you get here? I feel like I'm a vessel and God is within me. And what I'm doing is, it's not, like I said, it's not me. This is ordained. This is what God has me here in this position. Because I tried so many times to get away from it. Trust. But when it's something that's for you, it keeps coming back. And so to like within the 15 years, it wasn't always home health care. It wasn't always taxes, but it always came back no matter how much I tried to get away from
Ah, purpose, 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 and understanding your why.
it. Mm-hmm.
For folks who are listening, we have a connection right here because you talk about prayer so much. I'm so grounded with my spirituality and whomever you connect with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly believe that we are all vessels, like you said. We're here
Mm-hmm.
on this earth to be of service.
Yes. And that's how I
To,
look at myself.
to be of service. I think the
Mm-hmm.
issue that sometimes some of us have, it's that we're disobedient and
Yep.
we're not
Mm-hmm.
listening. We're not listening enough. Because sometimes we go and we may pray and we ask God and we don't get the answer that we want, but God is giving us what we need in that
Mm-hmm.
moment, not what we want. God is
Yeah.
giving us what we need. That's what I believe in my heart. Additionally, sometimes when we step out on faith, I repeat that, when we step out
Yep.
on faith, God has his way of intercepting. And sometimes he redirects us because that's not what he wants us to do. That's not our purpose. So we have to understand who we are as an
Mm-hmm.
individual. Figure out your why. And when God gives you your purpose, it's for you to understand. It's not for others to understand. It's not for others to even believe in you. If they do, that's a
Mm-hmm.
benefit. But it's for you to understand because that's your gift, that's your purpose, that's your calling. And only you can understand it.
Yep. Yep. And to speak on that, what I was saying about being blackballed, I want
Mhm.
to take that away because, like you said, God redirects. So I may have felt like this is a good situation for me. And God is like, no, this is not a good situation for you. I'm going to pull you out this situation. I'm going to take you out and make you hit rock bottom to where you're going to get to where I'm trying to take you. You don't have a choice but to go that direction because I'm going to take everything from you to where you're going to build that resilience to get there. And I think that's what happened. I'm just so grateful for anything that I went through. Because like I said, not only with that situation, anytime something was taken from me where I felt like, why did this happen? There was always a reason. It was always something better. And just to give you an example, I worked at Wendy's. I thought when I was younger, my first job, and I thought, oh, this is the best thing for me. And I got fired. Then I get a job at Walmart, getting paid more. And then I'm thinking this is the best thing for me. Then I get fired. and then I go back to school, and then when things happen, it's like, why does this happen? But it all something always came good from it, and it was always a lesson learned, and experience just to make myself better, to prepare myself. When you're younger, you got to work on your attitude, how you deal with people, and how you talk to people. So like now in my time, I feel like I've worked on myself to get me here, to be able to communicate and learn how to deal with people, to make my business successful. So yeah, everything that happened is for a reason. And I'm grateful for any situation I ever been put in. I wouldn't change it for nothing in the world.
Love it. And gratitude, on that note, gratitude erases negativity.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Gratitude erases negativity. A lot of times we get up, it's human nature, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we complain and we whine about this is not working, that's not working.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if we would only stop for a minute, just stop for a minute and really hear ourselves. Sometimes I travel the New York City subways, and in the dead of winter, and it's so cold, and I see these folks, they're on the streets, that's their bed, they're on the train. It humbles me because it
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
makes me realize that whatever I am whining and complaining about, it's minute in comparison to
Mm-hmm.
this person who's homeless. So I think if we develop this attitude where we are always thankful for everything that we have, every single day I wake up, I have a gratitude journal. And
Mm-hmm.
every single day I wake up, I write three things that I am grateful for. Number one, I'm always grateful for life. Sometimes I'm grateful for heat.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm grateful just for the air I breathe because I need it to be functional.
Mm-hmm.
And every single day, I practice gratitude intentionally and
Yes.
positivity. I wake up and I tell myself, no matter what's going on, no matter what's going on, I tell myself that it's going to be okay, because it has to be okay. Because when you get in that negative mindset, and this
Mm-hmm.
happened to me like a few weeks ago, I have, I got assaulted a few years ago, and I had two surgeries.
Mm-hmm.
And recently, I got into a situation that aggravated the old
Mm-hmm.
wounds. And
Yeah.
again, when you talk about God taking us back and humbling us, He probably
Mm-hmm.
needed to give me that as a reminder that,
Yes.
baby girl, you need to slow down. It's not all
Mm-hmm.
about you. And I
Yeah.
have been grappling with that. I have been struggling with it. And like for like a good week or two, I was in my feelings. I was really in my emotions. I was literally having what you call a pity party. And I had to pick myself up. And I said to myself, you're either going to deal with this mentally, or
Mm-hmm.
you're going to grow through whatever it is that you're going through.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
literally kicked myself in the tushy and I'm like, hey, baby girl, get over it. This is
Yes.
not the first, this is not the last. You're going to have to deal with this. And
Yes.
I literally just tune it out and I start thinking positive, because there is a pattern. When I wake up
Mm-hmm.
in the mornings, the pain is not so bad, but throughout the day, it escalates. So I try to get as much in the early hours of my day. And guess what?
Mm-hmm.
I am super thankful because I'm alive.
You're allowed. You can move. You
I
can
can
do things. Yes.
still do things, even if I have to lay down. And fortunately, I have a recliner, and my
Mm-hmm.
recliner is like my best friend. When I sleep in my bed, sometimes I get carried away. So, you know what? I stay on my recliner because it keeps me controlled.
Okay. Yeah.
So, there are so many things that we could practice for ourselves personally. But I
Yes.
really shared that moment because I want folks to understand it's about our mind.
Your mind. Don't let the right now, the bad that you think is
Right.
bad,
Because
overpower
it's
you.
not. It's
Yeah.
not.
It may
It's
not be
not all
bad.
that bad. It's not all that bad. Because like even
Yeah.
like digressing for a second, thinking about COVID, it's so amazing and intriguing to see that the world was going through this all together at
So.
the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I think COVID was such a blessing Do I feel good about the deaths and the lives that were lost? No, it
No.
hurts. It's
Hmm.
really painful. But personally, for me, I've accomplished so much in COVID. If it wasn't for COVID,
Same
it would
here.
not have been possible.
Yep, I agree.
So
It was like a bittersweet.
it is. It
Yeah.
is. It is. So, it's like totally up to us how and what we want to give ourselves permission for. And
Yes.
every single day we get up, you have 24 hours, I have 24 hours, we all have 24 hours in the day. It's
Yep.
about time management and it's about self management. How do we manage what it is that we are doing? It
Yep.
takes discipline. So,
And being
talking,
consistent too.
yes,
Got to be
consistent.
consistent every day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, you do so much. How do you take care of yourself? How do you pour back into that vessel?
And I'm learning that to take care of myself because I'm so about, oh my God, I have to take care of people. I always put people first before myself. And so I'm learning that part to not work so much. But when things are taken from you and it's like, okay, I gotta work to make sure this is not taken again. And it's like I said, it's not just for me, it's for other people too. I need to make sure everybody else is okay. So I'm learning that to go on vacations and pour that back into me. I'm doing like I just purchased a journal to where I can start writing journals and practice self-love, things like that, because we need that too. It's not just the success part, being successful financially, but also you need to be successful in your health and wellness as well. That's very important.
Wellness is so important. I dub myself the self-care queen because I think if let's use the analogy. You have kids
Mm-hmm.
and
3.
I'm sure that every single day you wake up, your goal is to make sure that their needs are met, correct? And this
Mm-hmm.
is why you hustle and this is why you
Yes.
work so hard.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. What happens if mommy's not around to do that?
Oh, I don't even want to. I try not to think about that.
See?
If I'm not around, that's why I've been working on my self-care. Like I told you, I got working out, so I just started doing that last week. Finally, hiring a personal trainer to work out so I could be here for my kids and others who depend on me. Not, my kids most importantly. I want to be here for them, but they have family. If something ever happened to me, I have things set up for them, but I'm definitely getting myself in order so I could be here for my kids.
I opened with one of your quotes that you said, I don't do this for me, I do this for we, right?
Yes.
And I really hope that you will continue to really develop and practice and be authentic and be genuine about taking
Hmm.
care of you.
Yes.
I'm sure you've heard the analogy about when you're on the plane and if the plane goes
Hmm.
down, you're going to put a mask on yourself first. As much as you love your little dear ones, you got to put the mask on yourself first. Because
Yeah.
if you take the time to put it on your child first, you never know what could happen.
Yeah.
So, with all that you're doing, you're getting up every single day and
Hmm.
you're doing God's work or you're walking in your purpose,
Hmm.
you're being of service, you're helping others, you're
Hmm.
motivating others. You got to take care of you, baby girl.
Yeah.
I think it's like, especially with in the black and brown community, like we don't do a good job and we feel that we can't take care of ourselves and say yes to us first. So I want
Yes.
you to start saying yes to you more. Say no
Yeah.
a little bit more. It's okay. They'll be okay.
Yeah, and I'm learning to do that, and I have. This year I started that. If I can't do it, I just be like, you know what? No, I want to help, but I can't help everybody.
Exactly.
I can only do so much. It's only one of me. So let me
Absolutely.
help myself first. But yes, I'm definitely focusing on my health and wellness 2022. That's my main focus. Exercising, eating better, taking my vitamins. That's my goal for 2022.
Awesome. Someone has a question here. Do you have any other business interest?
Yes, I do. Franchising. I don't know what made me want to get into that, but I'm trying to get this lighter. I do want to do franchising, like restaurants.
Okay.
things like that. And then I also wanted to get into, because I do home health, but I wanted to get into like veteran services, homeless shelters. So I wanted to do that. So that's what I'm working. I'm also working hard for that, to build capital, so I can do that, open up homeless shelters and veteran services in the future.
Awesome. Do you have a mentor? Like with everything that you do, I mean, I know you sound like you have a team of support around you, but do you have this one individual that you really connect with to like bounce ideas off of? Because sometimes, when we have our friends and our families,
Mhm.
they're probably coming from a different perspective. But when we
Yeah.
have that one independent person, do you have such person?
Well, I don't have a mentor, but I have a friend who I communicate with that kind of pushes me, and I give him ideas like, this is what I want to do. But I don't have a mentor. That's something I do want. I do follow, I would say, people who are, at that level. And I'm actually going to a conference in July. Her name is Anetta Powell. So I'm actually going to her conference. I don't know if you heard of her. But I try to follow people who are inspirations,
Got it.
to like things that I'm doing. But I don't have a mentor, if that makes sense.
That's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. Um, What would you say to someone who is probably contemplating, thinking that they probably want to get into either the tax business or to get into the healthcare field like you're doing? Like, what advice would you give them or what recommendations would you have?
From home healthcare, I tell people all the time, if you don't have a passion for loving others and taking care of others, please don't look at money. Because if it was about that, like I said, I do a lot of things to make my income. So I don't have one thing. So I tell people, don't do home healthcare based on money. Do that on your passion. Are you going to be there if somebody is not there? I built my way up to this, but have that passion and that love and that time to give before this, you get into home health care. Because a lot of people don't see the side, the work, the work and dealing with clients, healthcare, medication, doctor's appointments, things like that. It gets very serious. It's not this pretty picture that you see the success. So we're in the trenches. Besides doing this interview right now, I'm actually, we're in the trenches, we're working. So you have to be there to work. I tell
Absolutely.
people that. And then
Awesome.
for taxes, that again, having passion, learning how to talk, communicate with people, because you're dealing with people and their money. So knowing how to communicate with others, deal with them, being detail oriented, because you don't want to mess up anybody's money. Things like that. So, but anything anybody want to do, you can do it. I'm although, like you said, I don't have a mentor. I mentor a lot of people and coach a lot of people. But I would love a mentor, somebody that I could talk to that's on that same level, because I could talk about business and I could do this all day,
Lovely,
inspiring
lovely.
others. So
I want to go back to something that you said that is so profound. Passion for what you
mhm,
do. You
mhm.
can't think about the dollars and cents, but the passion.
Yes.
I just recently lost my dad. He was in a nursing home. And that's something that stuck with me until this day. And I'm still advocating to see how I could effectuate some change
Hmm.
because it really hurt my heart to the core just to see how the disinterest that folks had
Hmm.
and just not really caring about a human being. And that
Exactly.
really bothered me because as a social worker, you have to be compassionate. You have to be
Definitely.
kind. You have to be patient. You have
Hmm.
to show love. And you got to show up at work every day.
Exactly.
You got
Yep.
to show up at work every day. Like you're so excited to be here, even if you don't want to be there, because
Hmm.
that's your chosen profession. You decided to do that. And
Yep.
when we're dealing with people, it's not money, it's not a
Exactly.
factory belt. You're dealing with emotions.
Hmm. Emotions, people health. And I want to elaborate out there. And that's why I love what I do in the home health care, because they're in homes. They're not in nursing facilities where it's so many people. And that's what I love about this. We have no more than 3 people at the most in a home. In each home is managed. That way you can focus on the client. And I don't hire anyone where I don't see compassion, passion, any of that. If you're not there for my clients, I can't hire you. And if I hear anything, you got to go. I let somebody go if the tone get too loud. Like, I really care about I don't play about my clients. They're like my family. So that's very important to me.
Thank you so much for thinking
Yeah.
about humanity.
Yeah.
So, Mr. McCoy says you should look up Dr. Jonna B. Woodhouse. She'd be a great mentor, and she's looking for young women and men to mentor. So,
Okay.
you
I'm
should
gonna
check
look
her out when you have a moment or two. So, what's next for you? I know you have so much stuff percolating in your brain and trying to figure out
Mhm.
what your next step is going to be. Because what my biggest takeaway from this interview, from this conversation with you, it's
Mhm.
recognizing that you're not afraid to jump. You're not afraid to take
Yeah.
risks. You're not. You're such a
Yeah.
risk taker, and I love it.
I am. It's a shame.
It's
But
great.
I am. I am. I'm definitely, because you like what they say, scared money don't make no money.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely a risk taker.
Okay.
Um, but I always have that talk with my higher power first before I make any decision. I always have a talk like, is this right for me? Write it down, and it may take a week or a day or two, but once once I get the answer, I do that. I follow accordingly.
Got it.
I'm going to say that. So the next thing in my plans that I plan on doing is I do a lot of virtual taxes. So I want to eventually expand. I do taxes in different states now, but I want to have a brick and mortar in different states eventually, maybe a franchise. And I'm looking to open up a day program for my clients. I have the home healthcare side, but I want to do day program where they come inside and you do teaching and learning. So those are some of the things in my plan to do. If we're talking about short term, and of course for long term, like I just want to be. Before I leave out this off this earth, my only focus is that I made a difference and I helped someone, and someone could be like, you know what, Miss Tomika Turner was there, or she helped me. And sometimes I just want to know that I made a difference here. I don't want to just be here sitting. I definitely want to be remembered for my love and compassion, if anything.
Love it. You're making your
Yeah.
imprint. You're creating your.
Yeah.
You're marking your territory, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm marking my thirds. Yeah, so
Marking
I
your territory.
definitely want to. I don't know about household name because I'm very humble. I don't really like to, you know, be put myself out there. I can't. I feel like I'm too humble. Some people tell me, but I don't post a lot. If I do, it's just about business. But I'm very humble. But I do want to leave a mark with my business and leave something for my kids.
Absolutely. Humility is a really good virtue to have, and that's okay. And you're already making your mark because it's because of the impact you had on someone. That's how I got connected to you. Law of
Yeah.
attraction.
Yeah, law of attraction. Yes.
Law of
And
attraction.
anybody I come in contact with, I communicate with, that's what I want to do. I want to always make sure that, Tomika made an impact. That's without even trying, that's just me. That's just who I am. That's just how I was raised. So
Absolutely.
just come naturally.
It
I
is.
guess
It
I
is.
put
I can
certain
tell.
people in certain situations, and that's another thing what I was saying. Everything is not for everybody.
Uh,
God put special people in certain places to oversee,
yeah.
to make sure it's done correctly. And I think that's what I am, the overseer.
Yeah. He's very, our God, the God I serve and the God you're talking about, he's very
Mhm.
selective. And he's
Yes.
meticulous. He's very,
Yep.
very selective with his soldiers. So, like, I am so grateful. I am humbled and honored to have had this conversation with you. And I'm walking away feeling full. I feel
Yeah.
like my vessel, like you filled my cup this today. The long day at work, but just
Yeah.
having this conversation and just a reminder, because sometimes we need reminders, right?
Yes.
Our greatness. And
Mm-hmm.
you were not afraid to own your greatness. You stepped into it and you owned it.
Yeah. Yes,
You owned
definitely. And I want the next woman to own it. Anything that if you're listening to this, you're on here with me and Miss Marie, own what you're doing. Don't let one negative thing discourage you. Take that negativity and make that the fuel to the fire. And that's what I did in any situation. Take it, own it, and just move on from it. We can't sit and dwell and cry about it. We just got to figure out, what are we going to do next. So always, what's the solution?
it. Yes.
Yeah.
Solutions focused.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're so right. And just give ourselves permission to enter these spaces
Hmm.
that we're often excluded from.
Yeah.
Own and up to who we are because it's okay.
Hmm.
And never dim your light to please
Yes.
another. If the light is too bright, tell them to put on some dark glasses, some sunglasses. It'll be okay.
Right. Yes.
Just own who we are. So, Tamika, like we're coming to a close. So, is there any final words of wisdom that you would like to share um, with folks before
Yeah.
you go?
Well, like I said, anything that anybody want to do, be consistent in it. Make sure you have that passion and don't just think about yourself when you're doing this. Always think about others, because that's how you'll get that success. Is going to come to you. And like I say, that's it. Just be consistent, have passion, and go for it.
So, you all heard that, folks, from the lovely Miss Tomika Turner, our serial entrepreneur from Atlanta. Step out in faith,
Hmm.
believe, ask, and be willing to receive it when it comes your way. It's
Yes.
okay to ask for help. It's okay to not know. It's
Hmm.
okay when self doubt creeps in, but it's not okay to not keep moving forward.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have an amazing rest of the day and week on purpose and continue to impact, inspire, and motivate others. You are a blessing. You are a light in this world, and we truly appreciate you. To all the viewers, it was, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in this space. To Soul City, thank you all so much. Have an amazing rest of the night and week on purpose. Bye.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.